nothing wrong. And the tears been falling for so long. But the more you try to work it out, it seems you're going around in circles. But your best is yet to come. Activating success. Activating success. Activating success. Activating success. Get on your feet, oh, put your head.
Today, I would like to encourage us about the situation we find ourselves today. Change in life is inevitable. Change could be the death of a loved one. Change could be the loss of your job. Change could also be a disappointment. So many people experience different levels of change in their daily lives. But how we handle the change is what matters. Even in the midst of pain and uncertainty, there is a way to experience unspeakable joy. I don't know what you're going through right now, but I believe it is possible to experience unspeakable joy. I'd like to share with us 2 keys that would help you experience unspeakable joy. 1, be a finisher. It is not enough to start in life. It is very important to finish what you have started. A great man once said that nobody will greet you well done for laying the foundation of your house. You will only be congratulated for the completion of that house. It is not enough to start. We must also finish what we have started. Your exit will be remembered longer than your entry. How you leave a place will be remembered longer than how you entered that place. So it is important for us to realize that it is not enough to start. It is much more important for us to finish what we have started. Nobody will celebrate you for starting something. You will only be celebrated for finishing what you have started. You are too loaded to fail. A lot of people do so many things and then they lose concentration. Now, nobody will remember you for starting something. You will only be remembered for what you have finished. I read a very interesting story. For me, that is the greatest inspirational story I've ever read. A man called John Stephen Akwari from Tanzania went to represent his country in the 1963 Olympic Games in Mexico. John Stephen Akwari of Tanzania never won any gold medal. As a matter of fact, he never won any medal. But John Stephen Akwari's story remains the most inspirational story that has to do with the never give up spirit. The race started about 3 p.m. Shortly after he began the race, John Stephen Akwari fell and damaged his knee. But John Stephen Akwari never gave up. He continued the race. At 7 p.m., the winner had been announced. And then the spectators and the athletes were preparing to leave the stadium. And there they found John Stephen Akwari still running and trying his best, even though he was in pain, pushing very hard to get to the finish line. And when John Stephen Akwari got to the finish line, they went and walked up to him and said, "John, why did you bother to make it to the finish line?" And John Stephen said, "My country did not send me 11,000 kilometers to start this race. My country sent me 11,000 kilometers to finish this race." Wow, that is so inspiring. He came all the way to finish the race, not to start the race. Now, it is very important in life that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, no matter what situation you find yourself, it is very important to realize that it is not enough to start. we must finish what we have started, because you only be remembered for what you finish. If you have an opportunity to live your life all over again, is there something you would want to do differently?
Actually, no, I wouldn't want to do anything, because everything that you go through is a lesson, and it teaches you things that you learn that you're able to actually teach somebody else. So it doesn't matter. I don't have no regrets, because whether it's a mistake or not, it doesn't matter, because the Bible says all things work together for good to them that love God. So, and who are the called. So when you know that you have a vision, you know you have a purpose, you're gonna make a little bit of mistakes and things like that. But nah, I won't take anything away.
Something I always say, I say, even if you made a mistake, you are not a mistake.
You're right about that. You're right about that. You're not a mistake. And so, and it turns around. You can use your mistakes, and it becomes glorious at the end of the day, because you have more wisdom, more understanding, and then you could also teach somebody else.
Oh, wow. So are you going to do something for us? Something little, just, just a little.
All right. Let me just go old school right now.
Okay. Just feel free.
I'll just do old school until my new stuff comes out. I guess I'll do. I see the heavens where you dwell, be the dome where you rule. There ain't no wicked man, no fool, while the earth be your footstool. Plain and simple, certain you spread the heavens like curtain. Spread your love, though it had your son hurting. The many-breasted, your works be tried and tested. You got your power vested on who you made before you rested. Your rods upon the wings of the wind, and all humanity your base, cause you the king of the kings. All evil, reckon them, works of demons, stepping them, the righteous you be. Checking them, cause you be rather blessing them, mighty giver. Yesterday, today, forever, no differ. Got your spirit flowing like a river down to my liver. I shiver, cause you the master, Jehovah Rapha, Omega Alpha. You're still the same before and after. And from your body flows beams of light. And when you move, all your people see your power and might and worship.
Oh, wow. Okay, so tell us, break it down. Break it down. What were you saying?
How do I break this down? I mean, I was just worshiping.
All right. Somebody is watching you right now who is confused about life, who is discouraged, and who needs a push to get to the next level. What word of encouragement do you have for such a person?
What I'll say is, there's nothing that you go through that God doesn't have the answer for you to actually go through that thing. So there's a scripture for that. And so because of that, that's actually, it's like an encouragement for you to know that it doesn't matter what you're going through, there's still the end, and the end is always better than the beginning. So what I'll say is focus on that end product, focus on that vision, focus on that thing that you want to achieve. Just focus on it and let that be your driving force. Don't turn to the left, don't turn to the right. Don't look at the things and the mistakes and whatever disappointments that you get along the way, because all those things are actually meant to actually strengthen you. So you should count it all joy when you go through those things, because it strengthens you. And I guarantee you, At the end is always better than the beginning.
Kindly share with us your journey through childhood, schools, and now as an international gospel artist.
Okay, well, I grew up. I grew up in a very, very small family, in a very small village in the southern part of Kaduna State called Wasa Station. I was born into a family of, we were six, uh, children of six, and our parents made us eight. Okay, three of the kids have gone to heaven, so now we are two have gone to heaven. Now we are four children, two boys, two girls. I went to uh, government college Kaguru, which was away from the village, you know. And then from my village, I had to walk like 7 miles each time I was going to go back to school. It was a boarding school, but each time I was going to go to school or returning from school, I had to walk about 7 miles from my village to the next point where I was going to get a bus. I was going to take me to the next point that would take me to where I was schooling, you know. And then so during holidays, we had kids who were coming from Kaduna, coming from other parts, you know, of the country, of the state, and their parents would send their drivers to come pick them up. I would just pack up my bags and take the next bus that was going to take me to the next village where I was going to take. I was going to walk 7 miles to get back to the village for holidays, you know, and some of such times it will rain and you'll get drenched by the rains, you know. But what it did to me was it kept firing me up. I kept telling myself that this road where I'm walking on today, one day I'm going to drive my car past this road, you know. I kept saying it over and over. I said, this place where I'm coming to today, one day I'm going to, this kind of school, I'll send my children to this kind of school, and I will send my driver to go pick my children from school and bring them back home, you know. So there was a drive always on the inside, which was purely the grace of God. Because when you grow up in that kind of environment, most of the times, what you grow up seeing is defeat and failure. So there's no motivation around for you to want to rise above it. So it takes the grace of God, which is one thing I've enjoyed in my life, for you to be in the midst of such darkness and such poverty, and still in your inside you're seeing a better tomorrow. You lift up your eyes and say, someday I'm going to be bigger than this.
You had a mental picture.
Definitely, you had a mental picture of where you wanted to get to.
I knew you had an accident, something like that. Yeah, tell us about it.
Okay, so I was in the group Calivisions, which I told you about in Kaduna. And then one day we were going to Yola to minister. That was on the 20th. I think it was either the 27th or 28th of February, 1999. Right? We're on our way we're traveling to Yola for a ministration, to minister in a church. And we had an accident. We were in our bus. The group had a bus. And we had an accident. And four of my friends died. The bus somersaulted 3 times, threw everybody out of the bus except me. I was the only one left inside the bus, you know. And it wasn't a matter of where you sat. That wasn't what determined, because somebody sitting behind me died, somebody sitting by my right, by my left died, in front of me died, you know. So it wasn't about where I sat. It was just destiny. It was the grace of God. God had something for me. I'm imagining that if I was among those that went, you know, the level of worship that God has helped us, has used us to inspire around, you know. So now I understand why God spared my life, you know, at that moment. It wasn't because of the confessions I used to make. I didn't know anything about faith at that time. I was a growing Christian, you know. But God, in His infinite mercies, decided to spare my life. So 4 of my friends died, including the leader of the group. Okay. Yesu masoina bawanda zayara bani da kai. Yesu masoina bawanda zayara bani da kai. Masoina, masoina, mai chetona, mai chetona. Yeah, that's it. So he said, Jesus, my lover, nothing is ever going to separate me from your love. Now, it's not, and I'm not talking about my love for Jesus. I'm talking about Jesus' love for me. Nothing is ever going to stop Jesus from loving me. Nothing doesn't exist. Yeah. So it's from that love that I learned, from that love I receive of that love, and I give that love back to Him.
Humanly speaking, I think I started late my walk with the Lord. Many times I wish I got born again much earlier. I think I would have accomplished much more than the little that I've done so far. I came into music, gospel music, from teaching in the university. Yes, I was a lecturer in the University of Lagos teaching English language alongside a PhD program. But it was rough because I wasn't your typical kind of lecturer who would read, study, research. But I had gotten involved in campus cultism.
Wow.
The confraternities in Nigeria are different from the idea, the global idea of confraternities. And so, having become deeply involved in the confraternity, in the cult system, it took my attention away a great deal from serious academic work. Oddly, or strangely I should say, however, I did excellently in my academic work. But my passion was to explore the streets. It was some kind of strange misadventure, obviously fueled by a negative desire. Yes? And got me into violence, got me into some drugs, got me into all manner of misdemeanor. But how could I ever forget how on the 30th of December in 1992, I met Jesus. I met a friend who didn't count my wrongs against me. I met, like I would say in my song, after all the wrong I've done, he just said the past is gone, and he called me friend.
Wow.
In another song, I will tell you all that he said to me on that day. But for now, I'm just delighted that he called me friend. For the first time, I came face to face with a gospel that didn't condemn me. A gospel that recognized that Jesus, and told me indeed that Jesus loved me absolutely. That was, for me, new, novel, but most welcoming. And that's how come in the office of Pastor Chris Oyakilome, as he was speaking to me, I gave my life to Jesus Christ. When I went to him, I went giddy-headed with intellectual pride. I was a young man. I was 24 years old when I began to lecture in the university. And alongside a PhD program, I thought I knew quite a bit. I thought I would engage him in some intellectual discourse and tell him why it was not necessary, all this religion and Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
Yeah.
But when I came face to face with him, he answered all my questions from the Bible. I thought he was going to contend with me based on his experiences. But every question I asked him, he opened the Bible and gave me the answers from the Bible. And that got my attention. I said, wow, it means the Bible actually has answers to all of man's questions. Everything I could think of, he turned the pages of the Bible and answered my questions. Before he was through, I was on my knees asking to be prayed for. And that was how I gave my life to Christ.
So did you have a mental picture that you were going to be a gospel music minister
No.
at that point?
No.
No. And by the way, with all your, I would say achievements, you have remained humble. What is the secret?
Wonderful. Humility is not an act. Humility is not what you do. Those are manifestations of humility. It is a spirit. It is the Spirit of God. It is that same Spirit who makes you realize that where you are was not your idea in the first place.
Yes.
That same Spirit who makes you realize that on your own, see where you were going, see where you were headed. You didn't even count yourself able to live the Christian life. Now that you're here, you cannot but remember always that this life is not ours. It is God Himself, through His Spirit, living out His life through us.
Life is serious business. No matter how long you live, life is short. And so, we must develop a sense of urgency for our lives. Develop a sense of urgency for your life. I'm so excited today because I believe that everybody watching me right now is loaded with potentials for greatness. You have what it takes to be celebrated. You have what it takes to be that woman or that man you want to be. Don't let anybody discourage you. Don't let anybody talk you down. Don't let anybody kill your joy. Don't let anybody depress you. It is possible to be celebrated. It is possible to be who you want to be. Thank God for public opinion. Thank God for, talk is cheap. Talk is as cheap as table salt. Nobody pays to talk. Nobody pays to say anything. And so anybody can say anything about you. What matters is what you're doing with your life and what you have decided to become. And so stop saying people think this, people say this, people say that. What matters is your own decision and your commitment to doing something positive with your life. Make up your mind today to be a success. Make up your mind today to celebrate yourself. Make up your mind today to ignore what people have to say about you. Make up your mind today to finish whatever you have started. You have only one life to live. What will you be remembered for? What will be said about you? So remember, you have only one life to live. You must give it your best shot. A great man once said that if you take life too casually, you end up a casualty. We must get up now and maximize our potentials. It is possible to have unspeakable joy in the midst of whatever situation you find yourself. Yes, everybody is complaining. Things are not working. The country is in recession. But your story is different because you have a God that is on your side. It is possible to have unspeakable joy. It is possible to be celebrated. It is possible to live a productive life. It is possible to be who you want to be in life. Just wake up every day, give your day an assignment, be positive about life, get excited about your life. Don't let anybody depress you. Just be happy, be excited, and I believe that your world will celebrate you. Join us, same station, same time next week.